Amiga, let's talk about what happens when you know someone isn't good for you and you still go back. Maybe you've deleted their number and saved it again. Maybe you've promised yourself, you know what, I'm not answering this time. And the second their name appears on your phone, something in you changes. Or maybe you don't physically go back at all, but you keep checking their social media, rereading old messages, replaying conversations, wondering if they change, or secretly hoping they'll come back and finally give you what you spent so long waiting for. And here's the part that can make you feel absolutely crazy. You know better. You know better, amiga. You know the relationship was not giving you what you need. You know the pattern. You may even know exactly where the pattern comes from. So, why does knowing all of that seem to disappear the moment the attachment gets activated? That's what I want to talk about today because the problem may not be that you haven't learned the lesson. The problem may be that awareness isn't the part of you making the decision in that moment.
Welcome to Rewire to Align, a space where we break the patterns keeping you stuck and bring your brain, nervous system, and energy back into coherence. I'm Michelle Murray, neurospiritual alignment coach and creator of Align. This is where neuroscience meets spirituality and where you stop overthinking and start understanding what's actually driving your reality. If you're ready to see yourself clearly and finally shift what's been looping, you're in the right place.
Welcome back to Rewire to Align. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Michelle Marie. And around here, what we do is we talk a lot about that frustrating space between knowing yourself incredibly, super duper well, and actually being able to live differently when the old pattern gets activated. And that gap between the awareness that you have and the life that you want or the results that you want, that is what I call the alignment, right? You have to be in alignment in order to get to that result that you want. And this is such a perfect example because I think we've been sold this idea that once we understand the pattern, we should somehow stop repeating it. You've heard it before. I know that you've heard it. And um the pattern can be, I know they're emotionally unavailable. I know I deserve better. I know this relationship made me anxious. I know I'm settling. I know. But if knowing were enough, amiga, you would have stopped the first time you figure it out. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look underneath the pattern. When you have had a strong attachment to someone, your brain hasn't simply stored information about that person, it has learned associations. Their attention may have become associated with relief. Their text may have become associated with reassurance. Their affection may have become associated with what? With feeling chosen. And if the relationship was inconsistent, sometimes they were available, sometimes distant, sometimes loving, sometimes cold. That unpredictability can make the attachment even harder to disengage from. So, consciously, you can be thinking, this isn't what I want anymore, while another part of your system has learned, but connection with this person means relief. And this is where I want you to understand something. Wanting someone and being activated by someone are not necessarily the same thing. Let that land, friend. Again, wanting someone and being activated by someone are not necessarily the same thing because sometimes We interpret the intensity we feel as evidence that this person must mean something extraordinary to us. Why can't I stop thinking about them? Why do I feel pulled toward them? Why does nobody else make me feel this way? And we call that chemistry. That's what we call it, right? We call it, oh, I have this soul connection with somebody. And sometimes we even call it intuition. But intensity alone doesn't tell you whether something is aligned. Sometimes intensity is simply showing you where something inside you has been deeply activated. And this is where your awareness matters. But it is not where the work ends, because you can become completely aware that you're repeating a pattern, and we've all been there, you, me, and everybody else, and still have your nervous system and your subconscious beliefs and your emotional associations and identity organized around the old response. This is what I mean when I talk about the gap between awareness and integration. And in Align, which is my framework, I've talked about this before in other episodes. Awareness is the beginning. You see it, you name it, you stop pretending you don't know what's happening. But then comes liberation, which is the L in Align. What am I still carrying that makes this pattern feel necessary? What is that belief? What is that fear, that attachment, that emotional association, or all survival strategy, right? Coping mechanisms that is still keeping me connected to it. And then identity becomes important too, which is the I in a line, because there is a difference between knowing I deserve a different kind of love and becoming the woman who no longer negotiates, emphasis in negotiation, right? With herself when the old kind of love knocks on her door. That's integration. And this is why I don't want you beating yourself up the next time you feel the pull. I want you to become curious about what you're actually craving. You know, don't hit yourself with a hammer, because we tend to do that. Just be curious, open yourself to reflect on it. Is it really the person, or is it the feeling you hope they're finally going to give you? Is it them, or is it relief from rejection? Is it love, or is it the momentary feeling of finally being chosen? Those are two very or three very different things. And I want to give you one small thing that you can sit with this week. The next time you feel the urge to go back, to text, to check, to respond, to stalk the Instagram, please don't do that. Reopen the door. Don't immediately ask, why do I still want them? I think there is a deeper question that you can, reflect on. And it is, what do I believe I'll feel if they finally give me what I've been waiting for? Love? Do you feel loved? Do you feel chosen? Do you feel enough? Do you feel safe, validated? And then you're going to notice what happens inside of you, because the answer may reveal that you've been trying to get something from this person that is much bigger than this person. And that's where the deeper work begins. And amiga, if you're listening to this thinking, oh my God, Michelle, this is me. I know the pattern. I've analyzed it at journal. I can practically give a tech talk about it, why I do it, and I still become that version of myself when they come back. That's the work we are going to do together inside my private coaching. We're not spending our time giving you more awareness. You have the awareness, amiga. You have the awareness. You have the awareness and you can understand it. We're going to look at what keeps the pattern alive and working with the gap between what you know and what you're actually able to choose when you're activated, so that alignment becomes something you live, not simply something that you understand. And you're going to find all that information about working with me in the show notes. And if private coaching isn't something that is calling you right now, I've also created smaller self discovery and personal growth resources that are going to be in my Etsy shop. And that link is going to be there for you. And that's a good way of knowing how I also work, because those are workbooks that I have created for clients and that I have tweaked so that it can serve you. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. Maybe the reason you keep going back isn't because you haven't learned the lesson. Maybe there's still a part of you hoping that if this person finally chooses you differently, you'll get to feel differently about yourself. And if that's true, perhaps the work is not figuring out how to make yourself stop wanting them. Perhaps it's discovering what you've been asking them to prove about you. I want you to sit with that. And I'll see you next week. I'm sending you so much love.
I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard today resonated with you, the best way to support the show is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps me continue creating content that empowers you and deepens your spiritual connection. Just scroll down to write a review and share your thoughts. And if you love what Rewire to Align is about, share it with your friends and family. I truly believe the world transforms when we come together to create positive change. I look forward to be with you again next week.